Justin Jefferson out for at least 4 games, and there's a lot of fear that if the Minnesota Vikings continue to lose, which I think without JJ is pretty easy to say that likelihood is high, that maybe JJ doesn't come back at all or for a very long period of time to make sure he's right and healthy. The Vikings will have nothing to play for maybe at the point when JJ can come back after the 4 weeks, and so getting him 100% versus trying to push it is not going to be a good option. So prepare yourselves to be without JJ for more than 4 weeks. Devon Achane hasn't yet been put on IR. There's still some hope he doesn't miss 4 games. He could miss maybe the 2 or 3. If I had to guess, definitely 2 at this point with the knee injury. Horrible news across the board. The only silver lining here at all, or the only hope I should say, is this man DeMarcado, who is on waivers in 99.9% of all fantasy leagues, and you could do a full load drop on him and maybe somehow, some way skate by if, let's say, you own Devon Achane. We've got more news to break down on screen. Devontae Adams, Dalton Kincaid, Amon-Ra St. Brown. A little good news for Amon-Ra. There's this whole hernia rumor being spread around Twitter. Doesn't appear to be the case. So we'll break all that down and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Wish I had better news for everybody today. It's a bunch of downer type stuff today. Devon Achane is in fact going to miss some time. Multiple games is the report. I can put that on screen here and we'll go over that and then JJ in a second. But Devon Achane could be put on injured reserve is the thinking, but this isn't necessarily coming from this is very speculative right now, but it follows suit with everything else going on. JJ could miss multiple games, could go on IR. He goes on IR. James Conner missed multiple games, could go on IR. News broke that James Conner is in fact going on IR, which means this man DeMarcado could be a fantasy football savior, and a full load drop on your fab is warranted. Achane, we're hoping that this doesn't follow suit here. Maybe he's out 2 to 3 games. The reason they don't put him on IR is because he could come back for the 4th game. We'll have to see. He's still a guy that, if somebody came along and gave you an amazing offer that could save your season, you maybe take it. We had some people yesterday that were like, should I trade him now off the spec that he could be injured? And it was a pro and a con. As we said yesterday, it was almost just as risky to hold him as it was to trade him. We just didn't know how accurate, like the inaccurate St. Brown reports have been. We just didn't know how accurate or inaccurate the Achane knee injury was. And quite honestly, you look at the video footage of Achane after the game, he's talking like there's nothing wrong. He's got no ice on the knee. He's got no limp. No physical limp. So it must be some sort of internal thing that inside the knee that if he played on it could just make it worse, and they just don't want to risk it with Achane given how explosive the offense is, given that Jeff Wilson was ready to potentially come back anyway. But Mostert becomes a big uptick in Mostert's value, and so Amon-Ra as well, now that I have this up on screen. Lions coach Dan Campbell said Amon-Ra St. Brown abdomen has a pretty good chance to play week 6 against the Bucs. That's a good sign. Doesn't mean he's a lock to play, but that kind of rules out this whole he's got another hernia, he's going to be out another 4, 5, 6 weeks, he's going under the knife again. All this Twitter rumor garbage that was floating around on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Achane, let's hope. Prayers up to Achane. Let's send him to the moon. Hopefully he's only out 2 games, maybe 3 games, and we'll play it by ear on that one. And JJ, God, this is awful. It does kind of make you think, what if the Vikings contemplate trading Kirk Cousins? Because if they're taking a dive for Caleb now, they don't have JJ. They sit JJ out the entire season. They have an awful defense. And let's say they trade Kirk Cousins away. They're getting Caleb Williams. They're getting at least Caleb or the second best quarterback in the 2023 NFL draft. 2024 NFL draft. And maybe it's not Caleb. Maybe they don't even want Caleb. Maybe by the end of the college football season, we have 3 guys just like we did during the last 2023 NFL draft that everybody's arguing. It's this guy, it's this guy, it's this guy. So who the hell knows who everyone's number 1 quarterback is going to be. But I do know the Minnesota Vikings have to consider this. So if Atlanta, Vampy is tossing out names, Atlanta, the New York Jets, which I know is complicated because they want A-Rod to come back and potentially, quarterback them in 2024. But, like, why would you wait around on that hope? And why would you bank on another, recovery of an injury, an older player? So the Jets have to make a decision, which might be very, very bad for Aaron Rodgers, if they decide to go this route. Whatever the case may be, they can't worry about next year if they believe they can win this year. So the Jets are definitely going to be maybe potentially looking into this at least. The Atlanta Falcons might be looking into it. As Vampy just said, there are a number of teams that might take a little gander at this. Now, the problem is there's a ton of dead cap money. I don't know what the Vikings would have to eat. I'm sure they would eat a lot of it in order to go get Caleb Williams, in order to go get the chance at the number 1 or number 2 quarterback. This is not out of the question. The Kirk Cousins move to another team is on Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know a lot of people are saying Kenny Pickett. He's still, an early draft pick. They want to hold out hope for Kenny Pickett. Look, the Steelers could potentially go get Kirk Cousins. I would say the Steelers, the Falcons, and the Jets are probably the 2 biggest contenders in a Kirk Cousins potential trade. Not saying it's easy, not saying it's going to happen. It's just something to think about. Do I trade Achane for Breece Hall and Adam Thielen? I think you got to do that, Bryce, if you have that ability. And it's not impossible to make that trade, because the owner of Breece Hall might be 4 wins, might be 3 wins, and saying, you know what, I'll wait on Achane if he's out 3 weeks, maybe, or 4, and I get him back, and he's the best running back in the National Football League when he's on the field. And you could argue he's up there. He's in the top 2 or 3 at least right now, Devon Achane. I'm still sending him to the moon. I know he's disappointing a lot of people right now, and people are going to say bad things about him, like, oh, he sold me, blah, blah, blah. Achane's a beast, man. And if you could trade him away, though, to salvage your season, you're 2-3. You can get Breece Hall. Those are potential solid moves. The other solid move, though, is to go get this man DeMarcado and do a full load drop. If you've got fab left, or if you've got a rolling waiver order, you go and get DeMarcado, and potentially you mix in DeMarcado's, week 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 with Devon Achane's week 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and you have a top 5 running back with the combined amount of points. So you have to kind of do the math and piece it together in a way, pencil it out, so that you're saying to yourself, okay, is DeMarcado and Achane, once he returns, going to score me more points than trading Achane for a player like this or that? So definitely think about the piecemeal version of this. Like, what does it mean? What does it look like if you throw another player in his place and hold him? The other thing you got to think about is in the case of let's say you can pick him up and make a trade. I don't know. There's certain things that this guy could probably get you in a trade too. So no matter what, make sure you do a full load drop on DeMarcado. Also, Roschon Johnson we have to wait on the concussion protocol that he's got to pass through. Khalil Herbert could be put on IR. What would that mean for Roschon? It would mean probably a moonshot for Roschon, a potential visit to the moon, a moon landing, maybe a Saturn landing. I mean, really, Roschon could be in the running back climate that we're seeing right now, the injuries striking fantasy football owners left and right. We could see potential Roschon top 10 to 12 running back performance in the next 4 weeks if, let's say, Khalil Herbert's on IR. And if he's playing at that level, you can bet your bottom dollar that the team's going to be like, let's explore starting him the rest of the season. Roschon could get awoken, or maybe he misses this week, doesn't pass the protocol, which I think he probably will because the injury happened on a Thursday. He's had more than 7 days. He's had the 10 days to get into through the protocol. So I believe he will be cleared and be ready to go. But Roschon Johnson, DeMarcado, these are potentially your saviors. If you need a savior, it is DeMarcado, it is Roschon. And if we go back to the week number 6 waiver wire show here, Eckler expected back for the Cowboys. That tweet just came through. Let's take a look at this waiver wire and kind of work through this. So I do believe that DeMarcado, there's an argument to be made that DeMarcado is potentially as good of an option. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. I think DeMarcado is as good of an option as Roschon. I really do. I think DeMarcado, with Connor officially on IR, this could be one of those league-winning moves for you. But Roschon's got a little more ceiling, but a little more risk. Risk because they could ride the hot hand still. Foreman could still be involved in Chicago. Whereas, the Cardinals could get their other rookie involved as well. But there's a lot of injury concern there too, so it's like DeMarcado feels like the guy. Both of these guys feel like those potential, I can save you, you can ride this train for 4 or 5 weeks and then see what happens next, but I can carry you for the next 4 weeks while you're dealing with injuries and the IR or the potential IR landing of Achane. But Bigsby's also, again, still a league winner, but more of a sleeping giant version. Charbonnet's a league winner, more of a sleeping giant version. McLaughlin feels like a very solid potential, I don't want to say league winner, but close to it. Spears could be a league winner, and he's got that now flex injury. If you got an injury, you can play him. You got a flex spot you need filled. He can still play. He's still getting enough production, but he's got league winning potential. Jalen Warren's kind of a poorer version of these guys, but all these guys have potential league assisting, at least in winning a league potential. So the running backs are where it's at. These wide receivers are good, but they're not gonna make or break your season. Rice is pretty solid. These quarterbacks, depending on your quarterback situation, probably won't make or break anything. Logan Thomas is good, but he's not going to make or break anything. It really does come down to these 4 RBs. If you need potential league winning recipe here, Roschon, DeMarcado, Bigsby, Charbonnet, again, more sleeping giant versions. McLaughlin, definitely a player you can use now. Spears, a player you can use now. This is your waiver wire show. We've got to show up on it, but that right there is a sum total of the week 6 waiver wire if you needed to recap on it. Now, again, should you sell Hawkinson? I don't know. This is the tough part. Hawkinson could go from being, tight end 3, tight end 2, tight end 4. Everyone's got different rankings to number 1. If Kelsey doesn't somehow, some way rebound, if Kelsey still struggles with this knee injury and the foot and all the ankle, everything that Kelsey's going through, if Kelsey can't get back to form, it's arguable that Hawkinson, Andrews, Kelsey are all fighting to be the top tight end. It's possible Laporta's in that top 1 to 3 as well. But there's also a chance that maybe they trade Cousins away. And if they trade Cousins away, which I don't know the likelihood of it, it's like this is just getting kicked into gear. The NFL Network was talking about it briefly. Your boy talked about it briefly. And there are other people, just talking and kicking it around. We have no clue. We have no clue what is going to actually transpire. We don't know what the Vikings' mindset is. Do they think they could get JJ back? Maybe, and they'll play it out for a while, then decide later. But then at that point, teams like the Atlanta Falcons, teams like the New York Jets, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe they have no interest at that point in going after Kirk Cousins. So you do think that if it's something that's going to be done, it does actually have to be done now, or 2 of the 3 contending teams that are wanting to maybe explore this would be off the table, because the Jets lose 2 more games. They're not playoff contenders. If they got Kirk Cousins right now, they could maybe make a wild card run. And maybe you don't believe that to be true, but they would. And that's all that really matters. Do they believe that they can make a playoff, a wild card run? And I think they probably could with Kirk Cousins under helm. I mean, look, Breece Hall firing off, Garrett Wilson rebounding to form. We know what Garrett Wilson would become. He'd become a top 5 to 7 wide receiver. And that's me being optimistic, cautiously optimistic if Kirk Cousins landed on roster. It's something that's possible. This is probably one of the funnest parts of of fantasy football. This is probably one of the funnest parts of really anything, any part of my job. This reminds me of how much fun we had during the offseason talking about the potential landing spots of the running backs, the quarterbacks, where would Aaron Rodgers come back, like all these different things. Would Aaron Rodgers get traded? Those are some of the most fun times here on the channel. Probably the stuff I enjoy the most. And with the running back free agencies, I got reminded the other day when there was a graphic that popped up and it's like, who are the free agent running backs for 2024? And it's like Barkley, and there's this list, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to do the breaking news shows on the rumors of where could Barkley go, what will happen to Barkley, where will Barkley be playing, where could he go, what are the options. So if anybody wants to come in here and say, oh, Kirk Cousins is not getting traded, okay, I just don't want to hear he's not getting traded, it's not going to happen. Look, this is part of what we do here. We kick around the potential ideas and possibilities. No one's saying it has to happen. No one's saying it's going to happen. But is there a chance of it happening? Yeah. And so we're going to kick around the ideas. Where could Kirk Cousins land? Stop acting like you got the crystal ball. No one knows. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows how desperate the Jets are right now. No one knows what Salah's thinking. I got to win right now. We've got a chance. And it doesn't matter if you think the Jets don't have a wild card chance if they get Kirk Cousins right now. They do. I believe they think they could win. I believe they also blindly and naively think that maybe Zach Wilson could also crawl them into a wild card spot. But we know that's not going to happen.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
It's frustrating to me to watch Garrett Wilson, a top 2, maybe a top 3 to 5 wide receiver, just waste away and be barely worth talking about as your flex play right now. It drives me absolutely nuts. I can't believe it. Every time I see Garrett Wilson's face, it makes me want to cry. Because I sit there and I look at a man that we knew was headed for glory. I look at a man that had a quarterback that absolutely believed in him and loved him and still loves him and wants him to succeed. And would have spoon-fed Garrett Wilson into top 5 wide receiver production guaranteed. I don't care what anybody says. You can come in here and tell me Garrett Wilson wasn't going to be a top 5 wide receiver because it's so easy to play Monday morning quarterback and tell me how bad he is because he's not scoring points for your fantasy team. But I'm telling you right here and right now, Garrett Wilson was a top 3 to 5 wide receiver in fantasy football with Aaron Rodgers under center. He's been getting targeted like a monster. Very inaccurate passes. 3 or 4 touchdowns left on the table this year, and he's already scored 2. 3 or 4 touchdowns easily left on the table. And if this guy was to had Aaron Rodgers tossing him the rock, he would have been going to the moon. So I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't think Kirk Cousins, the likelihood of him getting traded to the Jets is high, but I'm still hoping for it, and I'm still here to talk about it, whether it's unlikely or not. We don't need to just talk about things that are only 100% likely. We're here to kick around the rumors. And it makes me want to cry every time I talk about little Garrett Wilson, and every time I play this damn thing. Come on, man. Pick up. Makes me want to cry. Let's get to these super chats. We got a $50 hauler from Kyle doing Kyle things in here. Kyle, you're an absolute monster. Absolute monster.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Kyle to the moon, making Smitty do a pump. Every $20 hauler. Kyle, I'm going to do the other 10 in a second. I owe you a double shot of that. Thank you for dropping the $20 hauler. Thanks for the hard work. Kyle, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. This one's from 217. First super chat of the day gets a standing O. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you. This one from 217 says, any chance I come back, I have a really good team. and it's 6 teams make the playoffs. I mean, I'm not looking at it 217. You want me to just give you a blind yes? Of course there's a chance, bro. Of course there's a chance. We can all come back. Keep fighting the fight. I've seen people crawl into the playoffs, bro, and then if you get Achane back or if JJ comes back, so don't give up at all. Don't ever give up. Trade my St. Brown Barkley to get Debo JT. That's pros and cons, young. Pros and cons. Does Barkley rebound? Maybe. Do I sell him for a bag of chips? No. Is this a bag of chips? No. This is a good deal. You're banking on JT. The problem is how long until JT's getting the volume we saw Zach Moss get? And will Zach Moss stay lingering? Will this be frustrating? Tough to know. Tough to know. I'd probably say keep St. Brown and Barkley just because you just don't know about JT, but I would say the bigger upside is on the JT Debo side. The risk is higher, but the upside's higher. So I don't know. Chat, what do you think on that? Let's vote on this for Young. Are we going JT and Debo, or are we going St. Brown Barkley? It's pros and cons. You know, it's tough to say. Let's see what the chat thinks. Young, I'll give you my final answer after I see the chat. The chat may sway me. Anybody that says the chat sways you, we pay you for the advice, Smitty. We ask you the questions. My chat is damn good, and my chat might just change my mind, and I don't feel ashamed of that because I've got 618 amazing people in here that I fully feel have the capability to make a better call than me individually. That's how amazing groupthink is. And so if you think that somebody asks me a question and I defer to the chat to help, that person's pissed off, the person that just asked me the question and they get a 600 group of people to now answer, that's the best thing that could ever happen to a super chatter. A super chat asking me a question, getting my kind of lean on the topic, and then getting a chat full of 600 people to also weigh in. That's what you call a big W. Okay, let's see here. We got Thomas with a super chat. KJ Osborne, a must add. Absolutely a must add. And if we go back to the waiver wire, maybe we move him up on here. I think I had him a little low. Probably move him up to like this territory now, like Rice and Osborne. I still think Rice is really good. But at the same time, what if Cousins gets traded? But, you know, we got to assume he won't at the current moment. I know a lot of, he's not getting traded. People are going to come in here and say, it's not going to happen. I'm definitely going to squash this. And then later on, if he doesn't get traded, I told you Cousins wasn't getting traded. No one thinks Cousins is a lock to get traded. Nobody. And this news real quick here. Davante Adams, here's another trade piece. The ESPN is talking about this report here. They believe that the Raiders won't trade Davante Adams before the NFL October 31st trade deadline. That's another important date, right? The 31st of October, Halloween. That's when it also gets cold here in Arizona. So we got to decorate for Halloween. Maybe the next show we'll do a little decoration. Adams, look, they think they could win. They got a W. They think they're the hottest team in the league right now in Las Vegas. And so they probably won't trade Adams. But if let's say they lose in their next game, they start feeling really bad, Jimmy goes down, something like that, maybe they do contemplate it. So it's not out of the question now. Just for the moment, it feels like it is. JJ being out, good for TJ Hawkinson. How much of an effect? As long as Kirk Cousins stays on the roster, I think it could definitely help him quite a bit. I think Hawkinson could go to easily vault to tight end 1 or 2, depending on if Kelsey can get back to form. I think Kelsey, if he's healthy, is tight end 1, but Hawkinson closes the gap at least on a well-playing Kelsey with no JJ. But will Cousins stay? I don't know. I need help. LOL, non-PPR. Do I trade Henry and Waddle for Eckler and Scary Terry? I would definitely make that trade. That's fantastic. Go get Eckler. Eckler's also bye-week free, bro. It helps you in so many ways. I have Saquon, Achane, and Spears. You got a good squad. Plus, Spears might take over anyway. Marco Silva, appreciate my Silva brothers. Thanks for coming in with a super chat. Trade Stafford, Eckler for Herbert, K. Walker, 2 QB league. Probably take Kenneth Walker and Herbert in a 2 QB league. Herbert is a massive upgrade over Stafford, although Stafford is still a good player. Should I trade Walker and Hopkins for Eckler? I think that isn't a bad trade. I think you can make arguments on both sides. I personally, Tony, would rather have the Eckler side. I think he's going to get spoon-fed, and being that he missed so many games, it's going to be a shorter season for him, so I think he could potentially stay healthy the remaining part of the season. The reason Eckler was a huge avoid is that the odds of him missing time was astronomically high. He's 28 years old. 28-year-old running backs usually break down. Derrick Henry he defied all logic last year, but he was an outlier, and proven by Derrick Henry this year, he was an outlier by 1 year. 28 is still the drop-off for heavy usage RBs. Not saying guys like McKinnon can't linger in the NFL at 30 years old. Like McKinnon, you think McKinnon's 31, but he's playing like a wide receiver hybrid role. If a running back's 30 years old and he's not getting huge volume, they can still linger. They can still be useful on a 4 to 6 game stretch during the year. Think of things like that. But when you're a high volume running back that's never left the lineup and you've been dominating for years and years and years, like an Eckler, like Todd Gurley, like even JT, whatever. Even though JT's been in and out of the lineup, the injuries add up on the body. When you hit 28 years old as an RB that's been a player in the NFL trying to get volume to be a top 10 running back, you break down. So Eckler missing time was inevitable. We avoided him. Now it's time to go get him because he's been sitting out resting, and now Eckler's going to have a very short season go forward, and he's a fantastic go-get. Difference between avoiding a player on draft day, letting someone else spend the draft capital, and us swooping in on a buy low creative idea and go get him. People get confused by it. Some people hate on me for it. They're like, Smitty, you're flip-flopping on it. I'm not. It's called adjust and adapt. It's also called the fantasy football stock market of things. Podcast, appreciate you. Brees for Puka. Brees for Pickens and Hopkins. I don't trade Brees for Pickens and Hopkins. I do consider it for Puka, I suppose, if you need a wide receiver badly and you're stacked at running back, but I think Brees is a little bit more value. Can you imagine if Kirk Cousins lands in New York? Brees Hall would go to the moon. Should I trade CD and Swift for Diggs? I think that's probably an okay trade if you were stacked. I mean stacked. But if you needed 2 players, I think I could get on the other side of this train as well. So it just depends on your vantage point. You have Bijan and Etienne and Brees already, so you feel like the kind of team that could do this. I would say Smitty approved for you, but not for everybody, and I think this could help the other owner too. You could both win this trade given your circumstances. Jonathan Taylor and Olave for Pollard. I'd rather have JT and Olave by a mile. This is not even close. Olave is close enough to Pollard, you're getting a free JT. JT's close enough to Pollard, you're getting a free Olave. You have to look at it from that perspective. That double side, the 2 players, wins by a landslide, whichever side you're on. I didn't even read which. Sometimes I don't even care which side you're on. I'm going to tell you the stance just in case you worded it wrong. That's just the way I kind of evaluate those. 12 PPR, 2 flex, trade Kelsey for Hawkinson, Mixon, need running back depth or need depth. I would say this isn't a horrible move. I just don't like Mixon, bro. I'd probably lean Kelsey. If you were getting a different RB that I actually liked and believed in, I think I might do that trade because of the uptick in value Hawkinson might see. Drop Javonte for DeMarcado. Yeah, you have to at this point. DeMarcado is a starting running back in the National Football League that the team's very excited about. DeMarcado. Feeling really, really good about DeMarcado. Feeling really excited about the boy. So go grab him. He's an exciting player. Have Pollard and Sharps. I like him a lot. We got a $20 hauler here from Tab F, dropping a 20 wad. Says Amon-Ra for Garrett Wilson and Michael Pittman. No, Amon-Ra news is not what you think, at least right now. Could it change? Maybe. But Lions head coach Dan Campbell said has a pretty good chance to play week 6. This whole hernia, he's going to be out, go under surgery, under the knife, be out for 4 to 6 weeks. It's all rumors on Twitter. And so the answer to that is no, but Tab F, appreciate you for the $20 hauler. Thank you very much, kind sir, and I owe you a set.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Appreciate you for the $20 hauler, my boy. coming in strong with that 20 wad. Tab F, thank you for the super chat. You are going to the moon, young man. To the moon. Link O with a super chat says, I'm 0-5, lost Chubb. Starters are Fields, Brees, Achane. God, you got hit hard with the running back injuries. Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Waller, and Aaron Rodgers injury. Like you got about blasted as much as a person can get blasted. Should I drop Javonte for Amari, DeMarcado, or Roshan? I would definitely grab both. I would put a waiver request in, probably for DeMarcado at the current moment, but get ready to shift that or organize them differently. If, let's say, Roshan between now and your waivers processing, Roshan is deemed the starter, cleared the protocol, or some news is linking him to starting week number 6. But DeMarcado is probably the safer one, but put a request in for both. Judy, Javonte, Keaton, all players that you could drop. I guess Keaton's on IR, so you can't do that. But appreciate you for the $20 hauler link. Thank you so much, pal. To the moon link.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Your boy Smitty's gonna get swole. I'm gonna get so swole. You guys are gonna make this cannon right here have definition soon. I don't have much definition yet, but we're getting there. Link, appreciate you. Every $20 hauler makes me do oh god. Brownie Munchers coming in with a 20 wad says, hey man, I'm 1-4 in my league. I was wondering if you had any advice. My team is Tua, Kelsey, Jake, Ferguson, Lamb, Hollywood Brown, DK Metcalf, D Hopkins, Tank Dell, London, James Conner, Kamara, Charbonnet. Let's see. This team is pretty good. I mean, Tua, Kelsey. I don't freak out on Lamb. Hollywood Brown's a trade piece. Hopkins a good trade piece. James Conner being hurt sucks, bro. He always gets hurt. This is like, I was wrong on him thus far. And maybe my advice for James Conner should have been draft him, ride the wave for a month, then trade him. So ultimately, I was wrong in that sense, like me saying avoid James Conner. But Conner's always hurt. But everybody's hurt right now. Achane's hurt. JJ's hurt. Aaron Rodgers is hurt. You know, it's like everybody's hurt. Like, I don't know that this would have done any good. Hey, avoid James Conner and go after Garrett Wilson. And then look what that happens. So, like, who the hell knows what to do right now? But you've got a really good team. If it were me, I'd potentially try and shop. I don't know if anyone's buying an injured James Conner, but if somebody's got 4 wins and they say, well, I can wait on James Conner, and you give them a Hopkins or a player like Hollywood Brown, who's looking pretty good right now, maybe you can go get somebody that you shouldn't be able to really go get right now. Maybe you can get an injured Aaron Jones. Maybe you can get a doubted Devontae Smith. Like, that's probably what I'm doing with this team, just to get that extra piece, bro. I'm not saying Hopkins can't continue to do well. I would only trade him if you're going and getting a doubted Devontae Smith, a Olave, St. Brown, etc., or an Aaron Jones or a Breece Hall. But would I give up Conner and Hopkins for Breece Hall? Absolutely. Will you get it? I don't know. Can you get a DeAndre Swift? Maybe, maybe not. Those are all moves I would make, but go after those big doubted wide receivers from Ridley, not anymore, but Ridley was. St. Brown, Olave, Devontae Smith, Waddle even is tempting, but you also could ride the wave. Your team's really good. Try for the RBs, though. Aaron Jones could be a savior for you. Brownie, appreciate your super chat. Thank you for dropping that big wad. I don't know what this is. Can someone do the conversion on this for me? This looks like a $20 hauler to me. I'm not positive. Somebody do the conversion on this for me. This means I might have to do a pump. I might have to do a pump here. So if you guys could convert that for me while I answer some of these super chats. Move Osborne over, Downs with JJ maybe out longer. Yeah, I did on the waiver wire, bro. I just adjusted it a few minutes ago. So Osborne's number 2 right now on the waiver wire order. So make your adjustments accordingly. God, what a horrible sequence of injuries. Just absolute blasted. We're getting blasted out here. in fantasy. Not just us, everybody, the entire fantasy landscape. You think one-on-one Mostert for JT? Look, man, I'm not going to sit here and say that this couldn't work out. It certainly could. Mostert could be fire. He could also go get injured. He's very injury prone. But I guess I would say like Mostert safer than JT until JT takes over. How long does JT take to take over? I don't know. I would lean toward JT, but I don't know if I would regret that. You know what I mean? Like it's a really tough call. Chat, can we weigh in? Someone says $139? $139? Is that what the conversion is for real? On this guy's super chat? Alex? Unbelievable, Alex. How many sets do I got to do on that? Holy shit. Let's see. Alex, you're going to have to give me time to rock out that many sets. I might have to. Math was wrong. No, it's not. What's the math? Someone says 139 US dollars. Okay, then that makes Alex the top super chatter of the month so far. So Alex owns the phone line. Alex, congratulations. Let me put you over on the phone line, bro. Don't call in yet. I just need to play this.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Alex is the new sponsored by. It's just Alex's phone line until further notice. With I'm gonna do the conversion here. $139. Okay, that's Alex's number here. Alex is the new. Sorry, Ron Navy. Thank you, Ron Navy. Ron Navy's probably very, very excited that somebody knocked him off here. Alex is the new super chat leader of the month. So the phone lines are always presented by him until further notice. So congrats, Alex. Alex to the moon. Okay, thank you. 70 reps. Damn. I don't know if I could get 70 reps, and Alex might have broke Smitty on this right here. Jalen Hurts, Bijan, K9, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Evan Ingram, Puka Nacua, Damian Pierce, Pickens, Charbonnet, Bigsby, McLaurin, Deontay Johnson. What do you think of my team? And should we look to trade the bench for a wide receiver and a running back 3? Alex to the moon again. We got to punch this for Alex real quick.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Alex is gonna kill me, bro. I'm definitely not gonna be able to keep up with Alex's demands here. Kyle dropped another 50. Kyle, I'm coming for you. Let me just take care of Alex here. He's been waiting long enough. This is a good team. Bijan, K9, AJ Brown, Hurts, CeeDee Lamb, Ingram, Puka. I'll be honest with you. Moving this team around much would be maybe potentially a mistake. I like what you have going on here. I don't think I'm trading any of these guys. K9 already had his bye week. That's advantageous. You've got Charbonnet. That's awesome. That's advantageous. Bijan should pop off. Don't change lanes. And then once you're on the freeway, your lane's going slow. You change lanes. Once you change lanes, the lane you're in goes faster. I think that's what would happen if you traded Bijan. CeeDee Lamb, I could trade like McLaurin and Lamb, Pickens and Lamb to go get an Olave, a St. Brown. That would probably be my only thing I would tell you to do. Go get a Aaron Jones using potentially. I mean, if you traded CeeDee Lamb for Aaron Jones, problem is, you're going to be weak at wide receiver. You've got Pickens to go in there, I suppose, but Puka and Pickens and AJ Brown still pretty good. But I kind of like the idea of CeeDee Lamb bouncing back a little bit. So I'm going to say you either trade Pierce and Pickens with Lamb to upgrade into St. Brown, Olave, or Cooper Kupp, or you probably hang tight. Alex, I wish I could give you some sort of like, do this. I really think your team would be better, but I love your team. I love Bijan. I love Hurts. I love K9. I love AJ Brown. I still really much like buying low on CeeDee Lamb, and Puka's playing out of his mind. I would be doing you a disservice, even though you just dropped the highest super chat of the month so far with $139. I'd be doing you a disservice to tell you to get rid of this team. I think this team could win it. I think you just need to potentially play with Pierce Pickens. Maybe Pierce Pickens, Puka for a wide receiver if you wanted to try and upgrade him. But Puka's playing out of his mind. So I think it's CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb to Ridley if you like that, or St. Brown if you like that. Otherwise, you're standing down. Some of the best advice I can give somebody trade-wise is to stand down. And you gave me $139, and I don't want to mislead you.
Alert. Stand down order in effect.
Everybody's saying, how are you guys getting $139? 0.052499 equals 124.95. I don't know. Whatever. We're still. Either way, he's still the highest super chat of the month so far. Appreciate you, Alex, for dropping that. We got another $50 hauler somewhere in here. I think it's Howard. Howard dropping wads. We've got Dallas coming in with a $20 hauler. These guys say, Smitty, we're doing more sets, Smitty. We're not done yet. Howard, this was the first one, I think, originally. Thanks for the hard work. That was Howard's original. Thank you, Howard, again for the super chat. This one's from Corbin. Corbin Dallas, appreciate you with the super wad. Says, can't believe Smitty said drop Javonte. Most yards post-contact, once part of a trifecta. That hurt. You think his injury changed him? I lost him, and now Connor. I mean, Corbin, it depends. Like, you're picking up DeMarcado, you're picking up a Roshan, and you have to drop him. So context matters. Like, if Javonte got dropped in almost any league, I'd scoop him up. So, Corbin, please understand the context of each individual question. If someone comes to me and says, hey, I'm in a small bench league, I have Javonte, I have to cut him, he's my worst player, and DeMarcado is sitting out there, Roshan's sitting out there, I got to get some W's. McLaughlin's out there, who's getting more run than Javonte. So it's not that I don't believe in him, it's not that I can't circle back, it's not that I'm going to feel hypocritical if he goes nuts and we're out here cheering, going, to the moon, Javonte. It's context. Context matters. So, Corbin, you got to decide what's good for your team. And if you've got a big bench, you hold on to Javonte. But is Javonte going to bounce back? He could, Corbin. He could. I don't know that he will, but he could. I do know that McLaughlin looks good enough that I don't know that it's a very likely scenario right now. But, it's definitely a tough call when you're forced to make a cut. And you're cutting somebody that we love so much. JT, thank you again, Sky, for this question. And I forget what the chat said. Mostert or JJ? Mostert or JJ? Can you guys please come in here and vote on this one, JJ or Mostert? It's $139, says Alex. Everybody's saying that you're not calculating it properly. You're just using 0.05. It's 0.056. Tony Pollard. I like Tony Pollard as a buy low. Thank you, Sky. Appreciate you. Darius with a $2 hauler says Devontae Smith. Oh, I owe someone a pump on that last 20. That was Alex, right? Was it Alex Lucas? Who was that just dropped that 20? That was Corbin. I owe Corbin a pump. Corbin, here's your pump, bro.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
8, 9, Corbin, 10. Corbin making me do some work. Okay, Corbin, appreciate you. Darius, D. Smith, D. Swift, and Cook for Pollard. I'd take Pollard, but arguable for sure. Vampy, what are the odds Kyler gets moved? I mean, hey, the Cardinals, if the Cardinals had a better record situation for Caleb or the number 2 overall picker, I think maybe they would potentially move him. But it's tough to say. I would say the odds are like 10%, 20% they trade him, but that's still, significant. Maybe 15%. Let's go in the middle there. But I think the Cardinals are playing well enough that I don't know if it makes sense to trade him, but we'll have to see. What's up, Smitty? You mentioned Higgins yesterday, but I still see him finishing top 5 wide receiver minimum. Lots of season left and Burrow cooking. Asher, you're probably right. I have been a little hard on Higgins. I think the fact that Joe Burrow wasn't doing anything, and neither was Jamar Chase, how can we judge T. Higgins too harshly with his goose egg week 1 and his bad play, and then he got injured? I guess once he's fully deemed healthy, if he is right now, I suppose maybe he does pop off a little bit. Maybe he is a good buy low to some degree. Asher, I apologize for disrespecting your boy Higgins, and quite honestly, he does deserve a little more respect than I think I threw at him. But I still think he's got a lot to prove too. So he doesn't move the needle extremely well on some trades, in my opinion. It just depends on what we're talking about. But I will say that with Burrow humming, maybe he is a little bit better. What is Justin Jefferson's trade value? That's tough, bro. I would say at this moment in time, guys, can you toss out a plethora of names that you would take for JJ right now in a trade? Don't just say anything. Give me some tangible. Maybe JJ's only out 4 to 6 weeks. What would you realistically give up? Getting JT, I'd take JT. Getting, obviously, Eckler's, of course, you'd take those. Would I take a Devontae Smith or CeeDee Lamb or Olave or Ridley? I think that's where we start having this debate of whether maybe we assume he's out for a significant amount of time, much past 4 weeks. If your record is very, very bad already and you've got JJ, you almost have to go after somebody. Bijan's a great name. Debo, Bijan, DJ Moore, Chase, CMC, of course, all the CMC. Yeah, of course, bro. Keenan Allen, sure. I mean, look, it is what it is. You could get a low-end wide receiver 1 or a high-end running back 2 in a very cloudy running back environment. Amari Cooper, I suppose. I might hold on to JJ over, I don't know. That's tough. It depends on your record and all your situation matters, MCF. It totally matters, but it's a great question, and I think a lot of people are asking the same thing. Jonathan with a $20 holler.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
9, 10. I urge you all to do a workout with me every time I'm doing one. We're all going to get ripped together if we do this together. $20 haulers make me do a set of 10. 1 and 4, 12-team PPR. Got Swift, Kyron, Brees, Kamara, Ridley, Puka, Cooper Kupp, Garrett Wilson, Kadarius Toney, Dulcich, Pitts, Deshaun Watson. What move should I make? And by the way, I'm not going to necessarily do this for all time. Just once I'm ripped and I'm noticeably cut, and you guys made me that way, I'll probably stop doing that during the $20 super chats. We'll do something else. We'll come up with some amazing celebration. I thought anybody drops a $100 hauler, I should have confetti and bags on the ceiling, pull a rope and just shower myself in confetti. But yeah, anyways, breathe, Smitty. I'm trying to breathe, Edgar, but I'm out here, talking right after, so I'm out of breath. 1 and 4, 12-team PPR. Got Swift, Kyron, Brees, Kamara, Ridley, Puka, Kupp, Garrett Wilson, Kadarius Toney, Dulcich, Pitts, Deshaun Watson. What are the moves? I don't like your quarterback situation if Watson's your starter. I like Kyron, Swift, and Brees and Kamara. Seems like you got a little wiggle room there. Maybe you're trading Swift to go get Tua and something. Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes. That's probably your best move. You've got a really good team. I think your team is stacked. Use Garrett Wilson. Use Swift. Probably just Swift to go get a quarterback. And that's the only move you need to make. Once you do that, you are secure. You are ready to go. You're ready to rumble. Try to do Garrett Wilson. Try to keep Swift. Do Garrett Wilson and Watson for Tua Tagovailoa or for Brock Purdy potentially. Both of those would be fantastic moves for you, personally. Yeah, that team is unbelievably stacked to the rafters. So you got the potential to do great things. Ian with the $20 hauler. Ian's making Smitty do yet another set.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Sometimes I forget where I'm at. 8, I think. 9, 10. I don't know if I did 10, so I'm going to do one more just in case. Oh, boy. Woo! 1 and 4 could use some advice. Moves 2 QB, 1 flex. Full PPR, Hurts, Brees, Achane, Olave, Ridley, Goddard, Flowers. It's a good squad. Thank you for the help, you bet. 1 and 4, 2 QB. I mean, Hurts and Lawrence is fine. You're good at quarterback. Achane, you got hit hard on that, bro. I don't think you can trade him. You could try. You could explore some trades. You could see if anybody's willing to give you an Aaron Jones injured for Achane. That would probably be the best move I could advise somebody to take a gamble on. Olave, Ridley. You also, even though your team's really good, you can't really afford to wait on Achane. So if you were 4 and 1, I'd say wait on him. But you're 1 and 4, so I'd say Aaron Jones would be a perfect buy low. You might even be able to get like a Devontae Smith and like Ramondre Stevenson and bank on a combo like that. Even though Ramondre is very, very bad to go get, he's at least a throw in. And if you could trade Achane for a playing bad Devontae Smith, that in itself is the good trade to get the Ramondre Stevenson toss in. So go to the Ramondre owner, see what wide receivers they have. I would say Aaron Jones is definitely the target for you, though. Aaron Jones, that would be great. In Devontae Smith and Olave, and potentially St. Brown injured. People are scared of him. Waddle and in a Ramondre, something like that. Smitty to the moon, heading to the gym now. Rise above to the moon. Go get a pump in, pal. Appreciate your super chat. Rise above to the moon. I'm at the gym right now. I'm at the gym right this very second. Beacons with a $2 hauler. Loaded at running back. Did Tajay Pickens for Debo? Thoughts? I like Debo. If you're loaded at RB and you've got good depth, I'd take Debo. I think Debo is still worth it. $10 hauler from my boy Russell. Russell, appreciate you. Get a moonshot for being a monster. Russell to the moon. I'm hitting all kinds of wrong buttons. 5-0 first place. Running backs are CMC, AK, Javonte, P. Ryan. I have the number 1 waiver claim. QBs were Love and Richardson. I can grab DeMarcado or Purdy. You've got to grab Purdy. You have to. You're 5-0 and you have quarterback problems. You go grab Brock Purdy and you do it right now. But I love DeMarcado as well. But don't you guys agree with his team? He's got to do it. You've got CMC, AK, Javonte. You got the number 1 claim. You're 5-0. This is what you've been waiting for. Go grab Purdy. Do it now. Do it live. He helps you way more than DeMarcado helps you, even though I love DeMarcado. Jacobs, Watson, Roshan, and receive JT, Olave, Hunt. I would take the JT Olave Hunt side by a freaking 100,000 miles. That is an easy one. Michael Russo, appreciate you. $10 hauler gets a moonshot. Appreciate you, my good boy. He says, I am 1 of 4 in my league. This is my roster. Tua, Achane, Spears, Gainwell, Najee, Harris, Hill, Addison, Myers, Sutton, Waller, anything you can do. You try and trade. If you're 1 and 4, again, you got to try and trade Achane for Aaron Jones. You got to try and trade Achane for Swift. You got to try and trade Achane for Breece Hall somehow. And you got to hope that owner's 4 wins, 5 wins. They can wait. Go to the 5 and 4 win teams. See what they have. Like I said, do some crafty. Go to the Ramondre Stevenson owner. Not to necessarily get him, but as a throw-in just in case he comes back. You go to the Ramondre Stevenson owner and you say, what wide receivers do they have that are doing bad? Is Waddle, who's not doing horrible, but he's still doubted a little bit. Waddle, Stevenson, Devontae Smith, Stevenson. Try and get a Debo and Stevenson type of thing for Achane. I think it's still possible. I think people are still, if they're 4-0, are 4-1, 5-0, they're potentially going to buy Achane on the chance that he's still not officially on IR either. He could just be out 2 weeks unless that report is broken while we're live here. So definitely explore those because Achane's still got a lot of value. He's not on IR yet. $10 hauler from Bryson. Appreciate Bryson, my boy, coming in with a strong one. My team, T-Law, Stroud, running backs, Eckler, Pollard, B. Hall. Great team. JJ, bro, Olave, Ridley. You still got a great team. I don't even know that you got to move anything, but I would do my best to trade JJ away because keep the momentum going. Your team's phenomenal. Your running backs, don't touch them. JJ and Stroud for Hurts or Mahomes, or potentially even like Tua. I don't know that I'd give up JJ for Tua, but Hurts or Mahomes, I would. I think you do that, Bryson, you'll sleep like a baby at night. Even if JJ comes back after 4 weeks, you're getting such a huge upgrade at quarterback. You're not losing anything. We're doing Osborne and Addison for JJ spot. We're doing probably, I would say Addison. I like Osborne. He gets an uptick, but I think Addison gets more volume. He's the better player. Thank you very much for your super chat. This one right here from Legend. 4-1, 10-man league. T-Law, Lamar, Eckler, Pollard, Swift, Ridley, CD, Amon-Ra, Thielen, Ridley. Let's see here. Trade Ridley and CD for Chase. I think. What's the chat think on that one? I think that's a lot to give up, but Chase is playing out of his mind. But what if he goes back to 40 yards next week and CD and Ridley both have like 100 and touch? You're going to be pretty upset. It's really, really hard to do that move on either side, really, because, you've got the depth to potentially do it. You've got Swift, you've got Eckler, you've got Pollard, you've got Lamar, but you're going to lose Ridley and CD, so you'll have Amon-Ra, and you'll have Jamar Chase, and you'll have Thielen in your lineup. Thielen's playing pretty good. Does anybody feel like they would take Jamar Chase, or would you rather have the 3 wide receiver combo with Thielen probably on the bench, I imagine, with Ridley, Amon-Ra, CD versus Amon-Ra and Chase and Thielen in the lineup? So if we could get a vote on that one, I guess I would say I lean Chase, but it is a lot to give up. And if, let's say, the Burrow gets hurt again, suffers a re-injury, then you're going to be pissed off. But it's worth the gamble. It's a fun gamble. Bench Ford, Pierce, Javonte, Palmer, Pickens. Need a running back this week. No Achane. Who should I drop for waivers, DeMarcado or Roshan? I would say your drop is probably going to be Palmer. Palmer is easily your biggest weakness there. And if you could pick up 2, I suppose you would probably drop Palmer and maybe it's either Ford or Javonte. I guess you just got to gamble on which one you think is most likely to keep a significant role. But it's pretty close on that one. Loving having Walker, but I'm worried about the schedule later in the year. 11 on in the Rams, the Niners, the Dallas Cowboys. That's why I have talked about him as a potential trade option. I think you try and get Eckler using a piece. I think you try and get an upgrade somewhere if you can. Like, certainly, but do I give him away? He's bye week free. I don't give him away. But he could also have a couple big games and you could still trade him in the next couple weeks. And by no means is Walker somebody that you have to trade. But, Charbonnet is getting more work. I do think Charbonnet has that crazy league-winning potential. I'm still all about Walker, but I am a realist, and I do see a tough schedule. I do see a player that I worry about the volume. He's been kind of skating by on touchdowns, which is part of what he does. So anyway, appreciate you all. Loving having Walker, but I'm worried about him. Definitely look to maybe make a trade. But it's got to be the right trade. Just come to us with it, and we'll figure it out. Okay, drop who for DeMarcado? Sharbs, Warren, JSN. Drop who for DeMarcado? I'll probably drop JSN. Finn's Fanatic. Probably drop JSN. Corey, appreciate you. I have T-Law, Ridley, DJ Moore, Achane, James Cook, Spears, Herbert, Komet. I just traded Tyreek, Andrews, B-Rob for Eckler. I like the Tyreek side probably. No, I like the Eckler side a little bit more. Eckler, Hawkinson for Tyreek, Andrews. I'd probably rather have the Eckler side, but that's very, very close. Wait. I'm sure it's Brian Robinson. If it's Bijan, obviously the Tyreek side, but I think that's Brian Robinson. So I'll probably take that Eckler side by a hair, but it's very, very close. Very close. I think some could argue both sides of that. That's a really, really good one. This one right here from Light. Appreciate you, Light. And guys, don't forget to trade for Breece Hall.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a whole of a job. A whole of a job. A whole of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
Κοιτάς αχάλε παλιό.
Get breezed.
Okay, next super chat was from Light. Light, appreciate you. Light says 4-1, 1 PPR, Stroud, Laporta, Achane, Alvin, Gibbs, JT, ETN Hall, Jeff Wilson on IR, Chase Cup, Sun God, Nico, Dell, Ridley. Just traded Alvin, Ridley, and Sam Laporta for Kelsey and AR5. No, bro. No. Just traded Alvin Kamara, Ridley, and Sam Laporta for Kelsey and AR5, who's injured. I can't. I wish I could hit the approve button, but look, Laporta's playing so good right now. I'm not saying Kelsey won't rebound and play amazing, but Kelsey did get banged up again. He's playing injured. He hasn't really played to his full potential. He may not. He's getting older. So I do like him. He's a good trade for candidate, but AR5. He's out right now. We don't know when he's going to even return, if he even returns. So I think that I would not have made this trade. I think this was a trade backwards, but hopefully it works out for you. I appreciate your super chat, and I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I know that's what you're asking for. I wish I could give you like a ringing endorsement on that, but hopefully it works out. Hopefully Kelsey goes so nuts that this ends up being even for you. It's still a possibility. If Kelsey's an absolute monster, it could potentially work out for you being even, but I don't think you're going to win the trade because you gave up a lot of talent. Drop Kincaid or Sky for DeMarcado. I would drop probably Kincaid for now or Sky. Either one. Depends on your situation. You've got Kittle, Kmet, so you don't necessarily need Kincaid. That would probably be the drop. But everybody needs to monitor Kincaid. I know he's in the concussion protocol right now, so that makes it even harder to hold on to him this week. But he will potentially reemerge. Should I use the number one priority on DeMarcado or save it? I would use it on DeMarcado. Sean, we've only been talking about it all show long. Drop it. Do it live. Marcado. Smitty approved.
You've just...
Okay. Drop love for CJ Stroud or Geno. Probably Stroud if you want safety, but I still think Love is a potential solid quarterback. Guys, he was in the top 5 or 6 for fantasy quarterbacks heading into this week. And yeah, he did really badly, but he still was in the top 6 fantasy quarterbacks. Okay, he was on pace for 40 touchdowns walking into week number 5. So I know he looked awful, but I still think, I still believe in Love. He didn't have his number one running back in there. I know we can keep making excuses for him, but his entire team's been injured. So I still believe in Love, but I think Stroud's probably safer. Pick up A.J. Dillon or Roshan. Roshan by a mile. Like, you don't even see me talking about A.J. Dillon here. Like A.J. Dillon, definitely, if he's available, I would probably slot him in the McLaughlin area. But Roshan and DeMarcado are potential the league winners here. So I'm going to say negative on that if even A.J. Dillon was available. So appreciate you very much for your super chat. This one's from Feeney. Feeney, appreciate you with a $7.99 holler. 10-team half PPR, QB Fields, running back Barkley, Monty, wide receiver Keenan, Ridley, Puka, and Travis Kelce. Let's see here. Monty, wide receiver Keenan Allen, Ridley, Puka, Kelsey, Ayuk, Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, what moves to make? Fields is great. Barkley, I sell high. Monty, you hold. Keenan Allen's probably a hold right now. Ridley, a hold. Puka, a hold. Kelsey, a hold because I don't think you get what you want. Ayuk and Barkley for one huge, bigger name player. Could you somehow, some way get Austin Eckler using Barkley and Ayuk? I think you could. That would probably be the best move you can make. Would I trade Barkley for JT? Probably. Those would be two things I would be tempted to do if I was you. And even though we say Walker is a good trade away, he's also a good acquire in the right context and angle. And from your angle, maybe because he's bye week free, you trade Barkley for Kenneth Walker. Maybe give up something smaller than Ayuk. JT and Gibbs for my Barkley. I'd rather have JT and Gibbs. I think that's a better side of that, more upside for you. Wave 3 with a $10 hauler. Wave, appreciate you very much for dropping this super chat. 12 minimum full PPR have QB T-Law, Fields, wide receiver JJ, Puka Olave, Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk. Running backs are Achane, Swift. Sorry about Achane. Roshan, Herbert. I'm hoping that Roshan fills the void for you till Achane returns, and you don't necessarily need to do anything. Your wide receivers are great, but you obviously lost JJ. I think the only move for you is to maybe trade JJ for, like we've been saying, the best player you can get from Ridley, St. Brown, Olave, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith, Lamb, Waddle, Debo, potentially, Christian Watson and a Ramondre Stevenson type of thing. Ramondre is a good player to target and use him as the smaller piece, because what if he bounces back and you get a Devontae Smith and potentially a Ramondre, or a Waddle and Ramondre for JJ. Now, there's a risk to doing that. What if JJ comes back after 4 weeks? So there's definitely a risk involved here. Definitely feel like that's the best attempt. I meant Brian Robinson, not Bijan. Thank God. Corey, appreciate your super chat. Alex, Hurts, Purdy, Goff. Guy wants Hurts for Devontae Adams. I have Kelsey, Cup. Okay, hold on one second. Guy wants Hurts and Devontae Adams. I have Kelsey, Cup, Evans, Wilson, Flowers. I do it right. Let's see here. Hurts and Purdy, Hurts and Purdy and Goff at QB. Guy wants Hurts for Adams. I don't mind this trade because you've got Purdy, but I do feel like I'd rather have a different wide receiver. I do worry about Adams. I do worry about that. I would probably say. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I would say, and the reason I worry about Adams isn't because Adams isn't good. It's just like I've told you from the beginning, and everybody can say this is a bunch of like conjecture, and I get it. It's a big speculation on my part. But the fact that Adams is super disappointed, the only thing I would hope is that Adams gets traded. So like on the off chance he gets traded, maybe I do take that, I guess, if you can't get a better wide receiver. But the reason I'm concerned is that Adams is so unhappy. If he gets banged up at all, he's sitting out the remainder of the season. Week 15, he gets banged up, he's not coming back. Week 14, he gets banged up, he's not coming back. Unless the Raiders are winning. And I know the Raiders are blindly in a we think we can make the playoffs mode. But Devontae Adams is looking out for his body and his next contract. And Devontae Adams is going to sit out and be injured later in the season. That's my biggest fear for Devontae Adams. Lego coming in with the $20 hauler says, Smitty, Schwarzenegger, need a Lego Robin replacement. Dude's been slacking to the moon. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Appreciate you.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Okay. There we go, Lego. Appreciate you. Lego to the moon. Lego's my guy. Bat signal. Watson did show up. That was good. Next we need... Who do we need to show up now? Next we need Devontae Smith to show up. Lego, make it happen. Lego, put the back call out. Devontae Smith needs to show up. Let's change that to a nice Eagles greenish color if we can even find one. Whatever, that will work. Devontae Smith to the moon hopefully this week. Let's call out Devontae. Thank you, Lego Batman, for dropping the $20 hauler. Lego Batman to the freaking moon. To the moon. Love this guy. He's got his own bat signal. Lego. Alex says Hurts, Purdy, Goff. Guy wants Hurts for Devontae Adams. That's the one I already did. Thank you very much. This one's from Deckard. Drop Khalil Herbert for DeMarcado. Got Hall, Roshan, McLaughlin. Drop Herbert. Yeah, probably. I mean, put Herbert on IR. If you don't have IR, I assume you don't. Then I probably take DeMarcado. I'm not dropping anybody else that you listed. Now, I don't know if you've got another scrub somewhere. Teams really struggling at 0-5. I have Burrow, Bijan, Swift, Ridley, Wilson, Achane, Laporta. God, you got a good team. Pacheco. Part of me wonders if you've been playing Pacheco, though, if you're 0-5, because Pacheco's been going crazy. Would you trade Swift for Olave? I'd probably take Olave over Swift. Yeah, I would do that trade. I also think, you got a lot of potential upside here to do well. Only problem is, yeah, you're putting Pacheco in your running back too. No, you're good. Go get Olave. Olave would be a good addition to your team. I think Olave is a good buy low right now. I think both of them are pretty even, though. You could argue either side. Trade Rashad White and either Brees or JT for Eckler. Trade Rashad White and either Brees or JT for Eckler. Rashad White and probably JT. I think I keep Brees. I would do that for Eckler. Yeah, definitely do that. That's a good trade. Let me go. Living Legend, I got a lot of super chats I'm in the middle of, but you got 30 seconds, pal. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling into the phone line that is presented by Alex. Alex Soberon. You got 30 seconds, pal.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just give me your quick thoughts on Chris Olave, man. He's been doty for the past 2 weeks. I just wanted to know your assessment. I didn't really get to watch his game film or anything like that.
Look, he rolled his ankle like in the warm-ups, and he still scored a touchdown, and he did fairly well considering.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm buying low. That individual just before you, the super chatter, said should he trade Swift for Olave, and I said yeah. So that's about how I feel about him. I think he, Ridley, St. Brown, Devontae Smith, those are all guys I'm buying. So Olave, okay. He's a air yard monster. He's so talented. He's one of the most talented wide receivers in the National Football League. I'd say inside my top 6 dynasty wide receivers. He just kind of has a little bit of a shaky quarterback situation, but at least it's backed up and supported by Jameis Winston. Winston can throw the ball, even though he's inaccurate. Sometimes he throws a lot of INTs. He's an absolute gem of a potential backup just because he's an air yardage machine. I got to jump. Living Legend, appreciate you. Hold on to him if you got him. Trade for him later. Trade for him if you can. Donnie Bravo, 30 seconds, and that's it.
Hey, Smitty. I got offered DJ Moore for Ridley. I have Fields as my quarterback and Evan Ingram as my tight end. Which side are you leaning?
I like them both. I think DJ Moore's probably better right now at this moment in time, but Ridley, rebounded big time. I love Ridley. I love the fact that this Jacksonville Jaguar offense is humming. It looks good, but I think DJ Moore's safer right now. I think everybody would agree with that. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate you with the super chat. The phone call. Ruben, you got 30.
Hey, Smitty. I had a question. I'm having issues at running back. I'm starting McLaughlin as my RB2, but someone dropped Justin Fields. So I was curious, should I use my number one waiver priority on either Roshan or DeMarcado, or should I go ahead and try to grab Justin Fields?
You grab Fields because Fields can get you way more in trade.
All right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
All right, but
all right, later, pal. Appreciate you, Ruben. That's a good one. Young, you got 30 seconds. Go.
All right, 2 things, Smitty. I traded Javonte for Tajay Spears this morning. I want to know what you think about that. And also, I want to go back to that JT, my St. Brown, and Barkley for JT Debo trade and see what you think now about that.
Say it again. St. Brown what?
I want to go back to the trade the super chat to trade my Barkley and St. Brown to get Debo and JT and see how you feel about that now.
How do I feel about that now? I didn't already answer that, though?
No, you said that you would let the chat say what they wanted.
Yeah, okay. So it's Debo. Let me write it down here, and I'll just give you my answer real quick. So it's St. Brown and who?
It is my Saquon Barkley and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Trade them to get JT and Debo Samuel.
Yeah, I don't know. What did the chat say? Did you read the chat?
It was pretty mixed. There was a lot of, it was pretty even, honestly.
Yeah, you know what I would say? Give me St. Brown and Barkley. Well, damn it. I keep going back and forth, bro. It's like I wish I could have St. Brown and JT.
It's one of those trades where each side could win the trade, you know?
I mean, I guess I would say, like, could you trade Barkley for a Debo and something? I don't know. This is a tough one for me. The problem with JT is we don't really know what JT is looking at this week, and we don't know how long it's going to take. But I really do like JT still. He is the better running back. Let's not get all twisted about Zach Moss's performance. I mean, JT would have done all that. But
no, I just think what they're doing, they're just easing him in like they should. And
yeah,
I think,
yeah. The problem is though, St. Brown comes back and it's St. Brown and he's healthy. I mean, damn. Let's see here. We got JT Debo. Let's see, topside. JT is still a question mark, says Hayden. Told you I had a great team, says Ryan. Ryan talking about himself. JT.
Also, Smitty, I'm 0-5 right now, and I'm in kind of like a I need to win right now situation. That's why I'm leaning more towards doing this trade because
Barkley's still banged up. Yeah, go ahead and punch it. Bank on JT, I guess.
Right.
But
and then also Javonte Spears. I did that this morning. What do you think about me trading Javonte to get Spears?
Yeah, that's fine. I like that. All right, bro. Got to go. Appreciate you later. Okay, let's get back to these super chats real quick. I got a few of them still sitting here. Appreciate you all coming in. We got a $20 hauler from Amy. Appreciate you with the 20 wad. Says PPR 10-man, Tua, T-Law, Higgins, Pickens, Johnston, Thomas, Collins, Dell, Thielen, Warren, Monty, Gibbs, Barkley, Kyron, Laporta. Nobody trades waivers or Spears, DeMarcado, Roshan, Bigsby. Okay, McLaughlin. Yeah. If nobody trades, then, I mean, I don't know that I can help you with a trade idea, but I would say that, like, you got to pick up DeMarcado or Roshan. Looking at your RBs, I would say you probably want to roll with, I mean, honestly, I want both of them. Maybe in this league, because both of them are on waivers, it could be one of those leagues where you could get both of them. I don't know. I imagine that everybody's going to be hot to trot after DeMarcado. Probably still about Roshan, but I wonder if you get both. If you've got a blind bid, I would drop half your money on one and half your money on the other if you can get away with that. If you think you won't land them, then I'd put everything you have on one of them, because I think, DeMarcado feels like he could be special, but we don't know how long he'll be in there. Roshan, same thing. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Roshan's also still got to pass the concussion protocol, but he did have extra time. This is tough. I'd probably use your gut on which one to go get. If I had to pick, I guess I would say give me DeMarcado for right now. But if we got word that Roshan's starting, and that he wasn't going to be like, it wasn't going to be a Foreman and Roshan mix or whatever the heck. If we got some sort of word, I would roll to Roshan. I think Roshan's got that league-winning potential, but DeMarcado probably is a safer right now player. But that's the only thing I could tell you. If nobody trades, the only trade advice I could give you is to say, like, try to trade a potential Barkley for something. And we're talking about Aaron Jones being banged up. Aaron Jones, look, that Aaron Jones owner is probably pretty frustrated. I would take a gamble on Aaron Jones over Barkley personally, but that's just me. But there's a huge risk there because he sat out this week. It was kind of a surprise, but maybe they're just trying to, with the bye week, like, give him an extra a bit of time. So if I were you, I would bank on Aaron Jones coming out of the bye week 100% healthy. I think it really probably had more to do with that bye week than anything else. Appreciate your $20
alert. Super chat alert.
8, 9, 10. Thank you very much, Amy, with the super chat and for helping your boy get in shape. Appreciate you. Vision says, I was staring at 0-5 in the face, and I told 0-5 to go take a hike. Smitty said pick up Achane, Puka, and play Brees Hall. I did. Now I'm 1-4. Okay, Vision, keep it going. Keep the momentum churning. Appreciate you very much. $10 hauler from Brandon. Brandon to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
Brandon, appreciate you. Where are we at here? 16-team full PPR, 1-4. I have Lamar, Purdy, Monty, Swift, Warren, Gainwell, Amon, Ridley, Olave, Quentin, Musgrave. Traded Ayuk for Judy and Musgrave last week. I would not have done that at all. Ayuk's got so much more value than that. Man, why'd you do that? Musgrave's decent, but he's not worth Ayuk. Ayuk's, he just balled out that week prior. I guess like your team, you're really just banking on these receivers pulling together. Swift and Monty's good. Maybe you're trading one of those quarterbacks. Purdy off a big week. Maybe you can get rid of Purdy and let's say a Swift into a. You could try for Eckler or JT and swing big. Bijan, Purdy, Swift, or Bijan. Go to the owner that has no quarterback and see what they have and come back with that, Brandon. But just poke around at how you could potentially trade. God, Ayuk would have been so nice to throw into this. But trade a Purdy or Lamar with a Swift to go get an Eckler, to go get a quarterback. Maybe you're trading one of those quarterbacks for Aaron Jones straight up and giving yourself some running back depth. That's probably where I'd take that. Does Algier win leagues, or do I pick up Bigsby? Bigsby is a league winner. Algier, I don't think, is as promising, but honestly, injury is going to dictate whether an Algier or a Bigsby goes in and goes nuts, right? But I'm going to bank on Bigsby being the better hold and sleeping giant. Hey, Smitty was offered Ayuk and Flowers for Garrett Wilson and Watson. I'm not going to take that. I think Watson's good enough that doesn't have me making that trade. So, and I do hope, I'm hopeful something happens in that New York Jets situation. Maybe they trade for Kirk Cousins. You never know. 5-0, Hurts, Swift, Cook, Chase, St. Brown, Waddle, Addison, Hunter Henry. Do I buy JJ? You're 5-0. You might, man. You might. Who do you sell, though? Like, Waddle for JJ? Maybe, maybe not. You don't really have an RB. You have just James Cook. Man, you're 5-0, though. I don't think you can afford, though. Maybe you can. I don't know what other running backs you have. You got to pick up some RBs. Maybe you pick up DeMarcado and Roshan if you can figure that out somehow. Maybe you've got one of them already and you can pick up the other. Then James Cook for JJ. But Thomas, it would be risky to trade any of the other players. But, Waddle maybe, but I don't know. That's a big risk. It's probably worth it, I guess, if you think JJ comes back. But what if he never returns? Rise above with a $10 hauler or $5 hauler. Rise above anyway, gets a moonshot because he's my man. At the gym, I think, right now, currently. Stroud, Howell, Bijan, Adams, Pittman, Rashad White, Ridley, Addison, Higgins, Sanders, Spears, Roshan. Any moves? I probably would say with your team, I would love to see you get into a better quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is a very nice buy low using Stroud and an Addison right now because Addison's got a lot of value. Sanders and Stroud potentially. Spears maybe in Stroud potentially. I like that you have Ridley. I like that you have Bijan. I like that you have Devontae Adams. I think a big quarterback would help solidify your team quite a bit. So try and reach for a Mahomes and a Hurts somehow, some way, using an Addison and Stroud, and maybe you throw in a Sanders. Honestly, I would do all that for a Hurts or Mahomes. If not, I would give up a whole lot less to try and get Tua Tagovailoa or some sort of quarterback bump. Will you buy Chuba Hubbard and Quentin Johnston for 30 fab? No. They're not. I don't even really talk about those guys on my waiver list. So, I don't know who's available in your league. Maybe Mercado's not there, but I dropped my entire wad on Mercado, bro, or Roshan. Look at the waiver wire show that I have up. Also, here's a gander at it right here, bro. These guys are the league winners. These guys are the sleeping giants. Spears, Bigsby, Sharps, and McLaughlin's in between. But these guys are the league winners. Those are the guys I'm dropping fab on, my guy. This one's from Mozart. How do you improve? Love Wilson, Bijan Barkley, Brian Robinson. I'm trading Brian Robinson and Barkley to get a safer player. I'm trading Barkley for Aaron Jones, who's coming off a bye week next week and should be fully healthy, I imagine. Brian Robinson, I'm trying to trade Brian Robinson and maybe a Gabe Davis for a Devontae Smith struggling player, Olave struggling, Lamb struggling type of player. That's how I'm improving that team, going after those buy lows using those pieces specifically. Trading Musgrave Palmer for Waddle. I think Waddle side by a mile. Much rather have that Waddle side by quite a bit. Thank you very much. This one right here from Andre. Andre says, how confident are we in Breece's consistency? I mean, we're questioning it because the offense is shaky, though, you know? Should I sell high to solidify a position? Depends what you could get. Currently 5-0. My roster is Puka, DK, Ayuk. Running backs are CMC, ETN, Breece. I think your team's really good. Tight end, Josh Allen, Hawkinson. I'm not scared about Breece Hall, nor do I think you really get what you want. $10 holler again for that one. I don't think you get what you want out of Breece Hall in a trade, so I'd rather hold him. Like, could you get a JT? Could you get a Ridley, Olave? I mean, it's those aren't bad if you wanted to go that route, but I think Breece Hall's got a ton of value. But Olave's nice if anybody's scared about Breece. 14-man PPR. I've got Hurts, Hall, Swift, JT, Tyreek, Dell, Addison, London, Goddard. I'm 2-3, feeling like I should hold, but what do you think? I'd probably hold with this team. It's a very good team. It's littered with players I love. Addison's about to go up in value. Goddard's finally playing well. I think I'm probably holding strong on this one. I'm 1-4. 1-4. 0.5 PPR was offered TJ and DK for Bijan. TJ Hawkinson and DK for Bijan. I'd probably say keep Bijan, my guy. I'd rather have Bijan. I think Bijan is likely to go nuts here very soon. Patel does Justin Jefferson for DJ makes sense. Of course it does. That's definitely one that I consider doing because we don't know if JJ even returns, my man. We just have no clue. 5-0. Should I trade JJ for Smith or Waddle? I would take Devontae Smith or maybe Waddle and something for JJ if you need a win. But you're 5-0, so you're probably a better candidate to hold JJ than anybody else. But I'm not saying he comes back. You're running that risk. But I think that you're 5-0. You'd be the one person that I would tell to go get JJ. But it's definitely a risk. I mean, I can't really tell you what the risk is. We have no idea if they bring him back. What if they lose every single game within this 4-game span that he's on IR? I don't know that they bring him back. So I probably would take the best offer you can get for him, but you also are a candidate to hold if it's too low. Waddle's pretty iffy. I think I like that in some respects, but I think I'd want something else. I would take DJ Moore in a heartbeat like that other guy. I'd take players like that. Who are some people I can trade Devon Achane for? Devontae Smith, Olave, Lamb, Waddle, Debo, and something. I'd probably try and get Debo and something. I'd get Waddle and something. Lamb, you probably could get a little something as well, but Devontae Smith, I mean, all those are pretty decent moves. Aaron Jones, if you don't want to risk it, but I think Achane's also a risky trade away because he's not yet been put on IR unless that news is broke. I got offered my T-Law for Breece Hall. I'd rather have Breece Hall by quite a bit. This one here from Paper. Appreciate Paper. Sell high on Breece for a running back and wide receiver. Lost JJ. My other wide receivers are Sun God, Olave, Watson. Lost JJ. My other wide receiver. Okay, so you got offered sell high on Breece Hall for a running back and wide receiver. Depends what it is. Again, I don't know that you're getting what you want out of Breece Hall. If you were to get, let's say, a Devontae Smith and a Ramondre, and you could take a chance on Ramondre from that very, very weird angle where you're getting the Devontae Smith to maybe equal Breece, or the Lamb to equal Breece, or the Olave to equal Breece, and you get that player thrown in for free, then it's a potential win. That's the only crazy thing I would do. And this one right here was looking at Hall for JT and Puka. You're probably not going to get that. Somebody might not trade you Puka for Hall or JT for Hall. That it's going to be hard enough to get one of those guys, which I would take JT and Puka in a millisecond for both of them easily. So that's an example, yes, that I would definitely do. MCF with a $20 hauler. Appreciate you, MCF, with the 20 spot. Here we go.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
8, 9, 10. This super chat from MC says, non-PPR, Keenan Allen, Garrett Wilson, DJ, Christian Watson, D-Hop, Tank. Would you trade Wilson plus Keenan for Chase? I would do that. Also, Monty Ford, K-Will. Trying to move K-Will for Eckler, Bijan. I would definitely do that. Any ideas on packages? I guess I'd throw in a D. Hopkins to upgrade K-Will into one of those guys, especially Eckler with the bye week already out of the way. Yeah, if the guy that owns Bijan has Connor, maybe you pick up DeMarcado and you can include that in the trade. That would be something that might be able to move the needle for him. DJ Meat Missile says, I was offered Ridley, Roshan, and Moss for my JJ. I probably would take that Ridley side, bro. That's a pretty good move. He also has B-Rob, Kyron. I mean, would I like Kyron and Ridley alone? Just those two? I would rather do that, but would I take Ridley, Roshan, and Moss? Probably. But I would try and finagle the Kyron out of him. Trade AJ Brown, James Cook for Jacobs and Stevenson? Absolutely not. 3 and 2? No. AJ Brown's got more value than that. Absolutely not. Heating Podcast says Swift for Nico and Damian Pierce. Swift wins by a mile. Why are we selling Swift that low? I don't understand. Amy said you misunderstood the question. Needs 2 to drop. Okay, let me go back to Amy's question. Thank you, Superfish, for dropping that. Let me see if I can get that pulled back up. Amy, let's see here. Super chats. Amy super chats right here. Monty, nobody trades waiver Spears. Okay, I don't see where it said drop to. Okay, so drop to. I'm dropping of this group. I'm probably dropping. I mean, you can't really Pickens, Higgins. You can't really drop anybody. Let's see. I guess I'm dropping. I hate to say this, but I'd rather have DeMarcado and Roshan definitely over Warren. I like Warren though, and probably over Dell, probably over, I don't know, Collins or Dell. I'd probably say Collins maybe has a slight edge right now, but this could change. They could rotate. Dell did better than Collins this week, not by a ton, but then they rotate. So I love Tank Dell, but he's a rookie. He could be inconsistent. I'd probably take both those RBs, but if I'm cutting someone first, I'm cutting Warren, then I'm cutting Dell. But it's very, very close. Thank you, Superfish, for helping Amy out on that. Appreciate you. And sorry if I misread that. I didn't see anywhere where it said drop. Made the last trade, got another one. CeeDee Lamb and Ridley for CMC. I would take CMC. That's just a safer place, outscoring everybody right now. He's, especially with all the injuries right now, that's an insane trade to get. Achane and Dell or Godwin for Waddle. I'm not doing that. I'd rather hold on to Achane, he hasn't been put on IR yet. And the last super chat to get caught up, and then I'm going to hit the phone lines real quick, and then I got to get out of here. 3 and 2. I have Herbert, St. Brown, Olave, Bijan, JT, Laporta, London, Mike Thomas, Bigsby, Spears. Trade my Kamara, Brees, Dalvin Cook for a JJ, AR, and Javonte. No, not trading Kamara, Brees. Kamara and Brees are healthy. They're going off. They're playing great. JJ might not come back. AR might not come back. What are we doing here, Relentless? Is this a dynasty league? No, we're not doing that trade. Thank you for the super chat. But do not do that trade. All right, I got to get out of here soon, so let me go to Travis. He's a Mars man. He gets to go first. Travis, you got 30 seconds. Go, pal.
Hey, so I was listening to the show. I'm assuming you wouldn't trade Ridley and Garrett Wilson for JJ right now, right?
No, I wouldn't.
For context, the other wide receivers are AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. But what about Ridley and Rashad White?
Ridley and Rashad White. I'd rather have Ridley and something. I think Ridley and something's just better. Amy says Higgins, you mean as a drop? I'm not dropping Higgins, no. I'm mad at Higgins, right? But I'm not dropping him. I think those other guys are worse drops. If he's available to be picked up, I think he's a great ad.
Who? Hold on, who?
I was just answering a question. Yeah, I mean, bro, you got to go get Ridley in something. I'd rather have that something be better.
No, he's going after JJ. It's a buddy of mine. He started listening. He has Ridley.
I'm not giving up Ridley in something then. So I mean, just reverse the advice.
What about Wilson and Rashad White? Would you still rather have?
Yeah, I'd rather have JJ. I'd take the chance on JJ over Wilson and Garrett Wilson and Rashad White. But I don't know that you're going to get that. The JJ owner might just let it burn to the ground before he does that, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. Thank you, Travis to the moon. Appreciate you for modding, being a awesome moderator. Thanks to all my mods. Thank you, Travis. Scuba Steve, you got 30 seconds. That's it, pal.
All right, hey Smitty, I'm in a 12-team PPR. I only can have 5 bench. I wanted to know if Jahan Dodson should be droppable for somebody like Jeff Wilson or any of these other guys that are on waivers. I want to know what to do with this guy.
Well, DeMarcado for sure. Roshan for sure. I'd rather have those guys over Dotson in a millisecond. And then yeah, probably Wilson, I guess, after that.
Okay, because before I hang up, my wide receivers, George Pickens. I picked up Quentin Johnston, and then I have Devonta Smith and Jamar Chase.
All right, bro. Yep, go get DeMarcado or Roshan. It's tough to know which one. I mean, DeMarcado's probably safer right now, but once we get word, if we get like any sort of like news report on Roshan's going to be the starter, he passed the protocol, he's going to get a majority of the carries. Like that kind of stuff would excite us into. All right, later. Appreciate you, Scuba.
Well,
okay, got to roll. I'm sorry, Scuba. Okay, this one right here is a $20 hauler from Slayer. Slayer, appreciate you very much. Slayer to the moon. Slayer is the man, the myth, the legend. We're 4-1 in both ESPN leagues. Thank you, but I'm 2-3 in sleeper 911 trades. Nico, Dobbs, Purdy, McLaughlin, Algier, Brian Robinson, Palmer, JSN, Mitchell, IR. Trade help, please. That's a rough team. Yeah. I don't know if that's like the roster. That can't be the whole roster. Trade help, please. Nico, Dobbs, Purdy. You got to ride with Purdy. I don't think you can trade anything of the list you're telling me. This is tough, Slayer. I don't think even I can fix this. I don't think a doctor could fix this. Brian Robinson for somebody. I mean, what can you even get? I don't know how you could even trade this away. Like, what is there to even trade? Man, I don't know. Honestly, this can't be your team. Nico, I mean that respectfully. I mean, you probably got decimated with injuries and you just are saving space and didn't list it. I don't know. You must have got rocked with trades. That's crazy. There's nothing to trade. There's nothing to trade. You trade Purdy away. What do you have at quarterback? So you can't even do that. Brian Robinson. I mean, will anybody even buy him? Zay Flowers, no, there's no trade bait whatsoever here. I wish I could help this team. This is a team that just got rocked. I mean, I can't believe you're 2-3. Like, hats off for being 2-3. I mean, really, you should get the commission of the year for being 2-3 with this team. Is that his bench? 4-1. Thank you, Nico. It's got to be his bench. I don't know, though. I mean, there's nothing else. I can't work with this bench. Injuries are killing him. This has got to be his bench. 4-1 in both ESPN leagues. Thank you. I'm 2-3 in sleeper 911 trades. Nico. It doesn't say it's his bench, though. But I can't help with that bench. That bench isn't tradable. But Slayer, appreciate your $20 hauler. And if you got a follow up, let me know. I do got to run, guys, in a second here, so I'm about to bounce out of here. Let me get this real quick.
Alert! Super chat alert!
One, two, three.
Alert! Super chat alert!
8, 9. It's getting harder. 10. Appreciate you, Slayer, Anti-Slayer. I'm going to look for a comment. Anti-Slayer says, my starters are K9, Bijan, Olave, Ridley, Laporta, Brees. So without that information, though, there's nothing I could have done and given you advice on. So thank you for the follow-up on that. Let me put that on here. Where's Slayer's messages? Okay, here's his starters. T-Law, Bijan, Olave, Ridley, Laporta, Brees. I need that information. Otherwise, I mean, your bench it couldn't have done anything with. Honestly, this team is solid. And I hate to say again, stand down, but like, what can you do here? They're all either undervalued or like if you were to trade K9 for Eckler using Laporta, I don't mind that. That's probably what I would say to do. Laporta and K9 for Eckler and just go rogue at tight end. Just because you got the bye week out of the way for both of them anyways. Not that doesn't weigh into it, but tough schedule for Walker and just potential less sharing situation. So that's probably where I would lean on that, bro. John with a $5 hauler. Let's be ahead of the Spears League winning upside. Henry inevitably gets hurt. That's what we've been doing, John. Constant Spears talk. Yeah, I mean, you see it every week on the waiver wire. 4-1. Thank you for the super chat. Howell, Chase, Watson, Pickens, Dell, Monty, Madison, Pierce. Any moves? Warren for Roshan. I would take Roshan in a heartbeat. Jeff Wilson or Bigsby. I'd rather maybe Wilson for right now if you need now value, but Bigsby long-term sleeping giant. Thank you. Would you trade Ramondre for Devonta Smith or Waddle? I would take Devonta Smith or Waddle, but in that order. Devonta Smith, Waddle. Slayer, do you have anything else updated? Anything else? I'm going to look for Slayer's message in a second. Slayer, I know you dropped to 20, so I want to help you. But your team, other than getting Eckler, I like it. It's 2-3 for a reason. Now that I see your starters. $10 hauler for my boy dropping the super. And Slayer, you can call in real quick. Would you trade Javonte Williams for Cole Kmet and Zeke in Dynasty? No, I mean, this is a nothing burger trade, Bryson. That's a snoozer. No, I probably don't trade Javonte. I'd rather keep Javonte over Cole Kmet and Zeke Elliott in Dynasty. I have Jake Ferguson, but looking for more value at tight end. I'd rather just start Ferguson. That's not the big enough upgrade to maybe get rid of what might still be some value for Javonte. Super chat from Edgar with the $5 flex emoji. Appreciate you, Edgar, coming in strong. Slayer, that's my bench. Okay, there's the comment that I was like, how does everybody know it's his bench? He didn't say it in his message. And Puka and Jacobs for Aaron Jones and Ayuk. I would take Aaron Jones and Ayuk over Puka and Jacobs. And that's no disrespect to Puka. It's just that the RB upgrade is significant to me. Especially after the bye week, I think Aaron Jones is healthy. He just got offered JJ and Brian Robinson for JT and Addison. I would take JT and Addison if it were me, Chris, but that's just me. Slayer, call in real quick. Appreciate you, Slayer. If I can help you real quick. I got to get out of here. Zeke is on his way out. Dynasty, I know. I don't know why you want to get Zeke in a Dynasty. I know you're just going after Kmet, but Slayer, dial in real quick. Hurry up, Slayer. I'm waiting for you. Only Slayer can call in. Only Slayer can call in. If you're not Slayer, you get hung up on. $907 caller. Is this Slayer?
Yeah, Slayer. What's up, Smitty?
Are you sure it's Slayer?
Yeah, we haven't talked in a while since Chase went down last season.
Okay, just want to make sure this is you. Okay, what can I do for you, bro? Talk me through this real quick.
I'm 2-3 in my sleeper. It just seems like every week, man, I can't get it right. And I know when you say you have a lot of depth pieces like that, you need to trade them. Like Nico, Nico a hit, then he didn't hit last week, and then I have to, go between B-Rob, and now I got, Palmer coming back, and I know JSN isn't ready yet. He's a hold, and I'm shuffling between Zay Flowers or Nico, and it's like, man, it's just stressful. So, I fleeced the dude out of Brees Hall last week for Rashad. Be a new guy then, son. Hold on, my little guy's here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
bro,
see if I can...
I would just tell you, Brees is on the rise. Olave is a good buy low. Ridley's back where he needs to be. T-Law, I think, starts get churning. Bijan, like I said, I think pops off. I think the only thing here is that, And it's not that I don't love K9. I don't trade K9 necessarily for a player that hasn't had a bye yet and like go that direction unless it's JT and something, which I would consider. But I think Laporta is so great you could hold him. But if you wanted to take a little bit of a gamble and go Eckler and get like CMC type production potentially out of a player, I think Eckler might be able to provide that in the remaining part of the weeks. And he's already at his bye week. They've lost Mike Williams. They're going to throw a bunch to him. Laporta is very hard to trade, but maybe K9 and Laporta can get you Eckler. Past that, I don't know that this team really needs to move anything because I don't think you can move any of the pieces in a way that would be fitting for it. So I'd probably just let it ride. You're 2-3 and players are not even popping off yet. You know what I mean? Brees is just getting going. Bijan hasn't been fully unlocked yet. T-Law's been awful at times, and so I think he's back on track. Ridley's back on track. Laporta's finally getting going. Like, it's all coming together. This team is light, but it's coming together. You know, maybe Brian Robinson and potentially, you know, I don't know. Maybe you throw him into the deal and get something else back from him. You know, something small like like if you got a Christian Watson or something like that, that'd be crazy. But, you know, something that's maybe doubted, a player that's doubted right now that might be pretty decent. Like maybe you could turn Brian Robinson into his Ramondre and just get a little extra piece. But I would trade K9 and Laporta for Eckler or not make any move.
Okay, I'm gonna try that then.
But there's risk involved in that. I mean, K9 could continue to ball out, but I just think that his schedule is really tough, bro. And I just think it's a nice move for Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler said, I was watching his podcast, he said he's coming back 99%.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Thanks for dropping that 20. You're the man.
4-1 in my ESPN leagues.
Attaboy.
4-1 in our ESPN leagues, man.
Attaboy.
And, we're 2-3 here, but I appreciate everything, man.
All right,
Thanks,
appreciate you later.
Later.
Should I trade Stroud, Goddard, Garrett Wilson for Cooper Kupp? I would take Cooper Kupp personally. Thank you, AG. Thank you all for your super chats. Thank you to all my $20 haulers and above. Slayer dropping that 20 wad. MCF dropping his 20 wad. We had Amy coming in with a $20 hauler. Lego Batman per usual. Ian, thank you for the $20 hauler. Jonathan, we had Kyle with the $50 hauler. We had Corbin with the $20 hauler. We had Alex coming in with the highest super chat of the month, and that means he is the sponsored phone line. Don't dial in, but just wanted to show that Alex is the phone line's Alex's until further notice, all of October. Alex, thank you for dropping the $139 hauler. Brownie for the $20 hauler. Tab F for the $20 hauler. Link O for the $20 hauler. Kyle, did Kyle drop 250s? I think Kyle did drop 250s. I don't think I gave Kyle his proper thanks for the hard work. Or maybe not. Maybe there were one. Maybe it was one. Was it 250? It was 250s. Kyle dropped 100 wad. I think these are two separate. Kyle, did you mean to do two separate? If you didn't, you know, you're getting another 20.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
I'm slowing down. 8, 9, 10.
Ugh. Kyle, I don't know if you meant to drop the 250s, but I appreciate you doing that. Kyle with the two $50 haulers. And Link O, Tab F, Brownie, I think I said all those. And then Ty with the last super chat of the night. Would you trade Mixon for Raheem Mostert? At this point in time, I'd take Raheem Mostert. Absolutely. Okay, last super chat. Then I'm out of here. I'll see you all at the 8 p.m. show. This is from Tyler. Trade waiting to accept my Puka for Olave. I'd probably rather have Olave by a hair if you want to take a little bit of a high risk, high reward gamble. Puka is safer. He really is. But, you know, pros and cons. Pros and cons. It's not like that's an easy one. Pros and cons. 500 of you in here. Only 194 thumbs up. Please punch that thumb up button on the way out the door. It helps the channel a ton. And subscribe if you're new. See you at 8 p.m. We're live literally in an hour and a half.